Good evening. I'm Tom Brokaw with NBC Nightly News. President Reagan this evening declared 12 counties in Pennsylvania and 4 in Ohio disaster areas, making them eligible for a wide variety of federal assistance. And they need all the help they can get after a series of killer tornadoes swept through, killing and destroying at random. Jennifer McLogan tonight on the terrible cost of the storm's fury.
When the tornadoes touched down in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Ontario, more than 90 were killed. Thousands lost their homes. Estimated dollar losses could run over $45 million in Ohio, $200 million in Pennsylvania. In Erie County, Albion's entire Main Street was destroyed. In Crawford County, only 7 homes still stand in the town of Atlantic. 26 private airplanes at an airport in Mercer County were left in a heap of twisted wreckage. But the worst economic damage appeared to be Wheatland.
My plant down here, it's completely shot. That's the division I worked in, but it's a total loss.
1,100 people live in Wheatland. Most of them worked right here in town. Today, only one factory is still standing. With every other business and industrial plant wiped out, the mayor says the town's future has to be questioned.
We have lost approximately 600 jobs. We're a small community, and this is at least over half of our tax base.
The Sawhill steel piping plant had employed 260 people. It's gone. Yorga Trucking is also gone. So are Sharon Metal Fence and M&J Trucking. Owner Marie Cavallari.
We just bought the building and we just finished remodeling about 3 months ago, and it's all gone now.
What about insurance?
Insurance, we don't think we have any.
But without it being rebuilt, there's going to be more people moving away, and you're going to end up having a ghost town.
People in Wheatland say they've been through tough times before, but nothing prepared them for this. Jennifer McLogan, NBC News, Wheatland, Pennsylvania.
Newton Falls, Ohio was one of those towns all but destroyed by the tornadoes. On Friday, Newton Falls was like many Midwestern communities, preparing for the rituals of spring, comfortable and secure with its small-town roots. Then suddenly, Friday night, all that changed. And as Jack Reynolds tells us now, Newton Falls is trying to cope with a new reality.
On your left is Gene Stoner's place. They were there at the time. It's leveled. Gillespie's is the next house. It's gone.
Newton Falls, Ohio. Population 5,000. A place where things used to be. First, the tornado blew away homes. Then it savaged the business district. How long did all this take?
It was gone like that. You seen it, you didn't.
And yet, many people in this shattered town talk about their luck.
Because I've got all my kids and my grandchildren and my family. Nobody was killed or hurt. I thank God for that.
A lot of plans have been changed. A high school graduation was to have been held here this week.
I had no idea. There's been a lot of confusions around here. We might get our diplomas in the mail.
Today, the people of Newton Falls began to salvage what they could, to clean away the debris. The shock is over. Now it's time to cope. That's especially hard in some places. The hardest hit part of Newton Falls was Riverview Avenue. 9 families lived along this street. In a matter of seconds, the tornado turned their homes into piles of debris. Mrs. Ethel Sable and her husband were blown out their window. She's just come back from the hospital. Her husband is still there. His rib cage was crushed. Their neighbors rescued them.
Greatest people that ever lived. It was only about 15 minutes till everybody was there.
There's something about disasters like this one that brings out the best in people in places like Newton Falls.
And they're willing to say, what do you need? Do you need some money? Do you need anything? I will reach deep in my pocket and help you.
Rebuild it. That's exactly what all of them are talking about. Just how to get it all cleared away and how to get started.
Everybody's interested in help. And I say that's what makes America great. There's no country in the world like the United States.
Jack Reynolds, NBC News, Newton Falls, Ohio.
Also coming up tonight, Carl Stern on still another arrest in that Navy spy case. Henry Champ tonight from Greece on what the election of Prime Minister Papandreou means for the United States. And on special segment tonight, these people are part of a program to treat cocaine abuse. What works and what doesn't?
Maalox, America's #1 antacid for excess acid and heartburn, plus the #1 reliever of painful gas pressure, are now in handy roll packs of Maalox Plus tablets. Maalox Plus gives you 1, relief of excess acid and heartburn, and 2, relief of painful gas. That's Maalox Plus tablets for relief of excess acid and heartburn, plus relief of painful gas. Try Maalox Plus with a great Swiss cream flavor. 1-2 acid gas relief, any way you want it.
The first thing some computer stores show you is a computer. But at Entree Computer Centers...
Can I see a computer? Not yet.
The first thing we show you is a private room where you can talk to someone who's going to be with you every step of the way. At Entree, we bring in consultants, instructors, technicians to assess your needs. And only when we know you thoroughly.
Now we've got something to show you.
Will we show you a computer? At Entree Computer Centers, we're with you every step of the way.
How fast does Ambisol relieve toothache pain? Before you can say...
Ambisol.
How fast does Ambisol relieve painful gum irritation? Before you can say...
Ambisol.
When your mouth hurts, Ambisol's pain-killing ingredients relieve minor mouth pain on contact. And Ambisol keeps on relieving for hours. How fast does Ambisol stop teething pain? Before he can say...
Ambisol.
Ambisol in gel or liquid stops minor mouth pain before you can say Ambisol.
There was another arrest today in that alleged spy ring that includes 3 members of a Navy family. But FBI officials warn that the network of Soviet spies in our midst is more than a family affair. As Carl Stern reports tonight, they say that network is growing because of diplomatic passports and money.
A 4th member of the alleged espionage ring who had worked at the Alameda Naval Air Station near San Francisco turned himself in. He was identified as 45-year-old Jerry Alfred Whitworth of Davis, California, a retired Navy senior chief radio operator. The base is home to the aircraft carriers Enterprise and Carl Vinson. It is a major training center for the Naval Reserves. This happened as Arthur Walker was back in court in Norfolk, Virginia for the appointment of lawyers after his arrest last week. FBI agents carted off boxes of naval documents found in Arthur's office at a defense contractor he worked for. An evaluation has not been completed on whether the documents belonged there. Today, the former intelligence chief of the FBI blamed rising espionage activity on the increased number of Russians permitted in the U.S.
Back in the middle 50s, we had a total of about 350-some Soviet officials. Today, there are over 1,200.
But he denied the FBI doesn't have the resources to keep track of them.
I've talked in the last couple of years to the boys down there who work the stuff, and they say, we're getting what we need. We're getting what we need in order to do the job.
Recent espionage arrests include those of FBI agent Richard Miller, aerospace engineer Thomas Cavanaugh, Christopher Boyce, and William Campilis, all of whom sold secrets to the Russians for money. FBI officials say espionage arrests in previous years were not as visible because many Americans arrested were secretly turned into double agents to penetrate the Soviet apparatus. In other instances, the State Department was eager to avoid trials which might injure détente. That is no longer true in the Reagan administration. Tomorrow, John Walker and his son Michael will be arraigned in Baltimore. Carl Stern, NBC News, Washington.
In Tennessee today, they threw the book at banker Jake Butcher for defrauding depositors of $20 million. That theft led to one of the worst bank failures since the Depression. Today, Butcher was given the maximum sentence, 20 years in prison. Butcher pleaded for mercy and a chance to pay back the money. But the judge said he deserved to be treated just like people who steal money from banks at gunpoint. He will be eligible for parole in less than 7 years, but federal officials say his sentence is the stiffest ever imposed on anyone pleading guilty to white-collar crime. John DeLorean said today that he's going back to making sports cars. Last year, he was acquitted on charges of trafficking in cocaine after the first DeLorean car company went bankrupt. Now, he says he's planning to open a new assembly plant in Ohio. He called his comeback inevitable.
The first time ever I saw your face,
you still remind him of the first time. Because Oil of Olay helps replenish fluids your skin once knew. Each greaseless drop eases dryness to revive the radiant look he loves.
your face.
Oil of Olay. it can help you look younger too.
AT&T is in customer satisfaction. Our people helped Pillsbury design a feedback line using AT&T 800 service.
Can I freeze the cupcakes?
500 calls come in every day, which makes Pillsbury very happy because satisfied customers come back for more. We can help your business in ways you never thought of. AT&T Long Distance Services, the better business machine. Talk with us. AT&T, the right choice.
I have 3 reasons for eating foods like Kellogg's All-Bran. And here they are. You see, I just read about new reports from the National Cancer Institute, and some studies suggest that a high-fiber, low-fat diet may reduce the risk of some kinds of cancer. So, I made some changes, like eating Kellogg's All-Bran, because ounce for ounce, no food has more fiber than All-Bran. Just knowing that makes us all feel better.
Maximum fiber, Kellogg's All-Bran.
American officials tonight still are trying to figure out what the victory for Greece's socialist leader means for the United States. Prime Minister Andreas Papandreou is adding to the uncertainty since he remains publicly committed to closing U.S. military bases in Greece. However, as Henry Champ reports tonight, it's still not at all clear whether Papandreou intends to make good on this threat.
They came out on the streets in their thousands just as soon as the television results told them Papandreou's PASOK party had won. These are the fervent, the party faithful the Prime Minister knows so well. From his victory balcony, he knows when he nags his common market colleagues for more money, when he lashes out at Washington, he knows their sense of national pride is being fulfilled. And that's why it's too early to make judgments about his future foreign policy moves. For example, he has the mandate now to remove the American military bases from Greek soil in 1988. And these bases have considerable military importance. On Crete, there is a huge naval station and an electronic listening post. Near Athens, there is an air base with obvious strategic importance, so near the Soviet Union, and a communication center that links up with a network of mountaintop relay stations. Despite his pledge to his supporters to get rid of these bases, it is also true it was less than 3 years ago, amid much anti-American debate, he renewed the treaty allowing the United States to stay another 5 years. These supporters, sitting in their village cafes, approve of the Prime Minister's nationalistic rhetoric. But they are also aware of the mammoth amount of foreign aid that pours into the country, just as these fishermen know the value of the common market subsidies they receive. Many observers point out, while Papandreou's supporters approve of his tightrope walking, that does not necessarily make Greeks anti-American. Nor do last night's election results make his future foreign policy moves predictable. Henry Champ, NBC News, Athens.
And in this country, they're watching all of that very carefully at the Pentagon tonight. Fred Francis. Fred, there's been this talk from Greece for so long now that they're going to throw the United States out militarily. Surely the Pentagon has made some contingency plans.
Well, they have, Tom. Pentagon officials have covered their bets with Papandreou. The bases are still vital, 4 bases, 2 Navy, 2 Air Force, but they're by no means critical. We can do without them. There are detailed contingency plans that have been approved at the highest level of this government to go elsewhere if they have to. Just in the last 2 years, the U.S. military presence has dropped from 6,000 down to 3,500. Sicily and Turkey play a very important role in those contingency plans where the U.S. might go. And in the last 2 years, we've put about $25 million into Turkish facilities alone.
Very quickly, Fred, those bases are important to Greece as well, aren't they?
Absolutely, Tom. The Greeks get several $100 million a year from this country, and as one Pentagon official said today, Papandreou may be unpredictable, but he is no fool.
Thanks, Fred. A photograph arrived unexpectedly today at a Western news agency in Beirut. It was a photograph of David Jacobson. He's the latest American to be kidnapped in Lebanon. It came from the terrorist group, the Islamic Jihad, and a note enclosed with the photo made no reference to Jacobson, who is director of the American University Hospital in Beirut. Reports on Afghanistan tonight say that Soviet occupation forces have scored a big victory in the strategic Kunar Valley, which is near Pakistan. Rebel officials say all major Afghan resistance groups now have pulled out of that valley after a week of heavy Soviet air and ground attacks.
Want a good reason why my antacid is Tums? I'll give you 3. 1, Tums is effective. It neutralizes 1/3 more stomach acid than the other leading brand. And that's what I take an antacid for. 2, sodium. I don't want any. And Tums is sodium-free. 3, Tums is rich in calcium. And to me, an extra source of calcium is extra good news.
Absolutely not. Okay, how about this? On top of your group benefits, the company sponsors Aetna personal insurance. So you, employees, can buy life, auto, homeowners for much less.
You're trying to bankrupt us.
No. Their savings come from Aetna's reduced costs. Your expense is just accounting.
But that costs him next to nothing.
But it's worth a whole lot to the employees.
With company-sponsored personal insurance from Aetna, everybody wins.
Aetna, I'm glad I met you.
Corned beef with mustard.
And cheese on one.
Don't forget the pickles. You know, most any food or drink can cause bad breath. That's why I carry Clorettes, the breath deodorant. Only Clorettes has Actisol with chlorophyll, which helps your mouth's freshening power clean up bad breath fast. It's breath protection that tastes great. Of course, Clorettes cost more, but it's worth it. Clorettes, the breath deodorant, because you have bad breath more often than you think.
President Reagan met with the National Security Council today to thrash out a heated debate among his foreign policy advisors whether the United States should continue compliance with the SALT II Treaty. That's the second strategic arms limitation treaty with the Soviet Union. It was never ratified. Andrea Mitchell reports the president is in a difficult bind and he is searching for a middle way out.
The president's foreign policy advisors came for a showdown on whether to continue observing the unratified SALT II Treaty or abandon it because of alleged Soviet violations. The immediate problem, whether to dismantle an older submarine and stay within the SALT limits on missiles when this new Trident sub goes to sea this August. The pressure, a deadline from Congress which is threatening to force the president not to violate the treaty.
We'll be cutting off our nose to spite our face. Instead of reducing arms, we will be allowing the Soviets to keep arms that they would otherwise have to reduce.
In fact, a Pentagon study says that without the treaty, the Soviets would at least double their number of nuclear warheads. The president, even as candidate Reagan, has never liked SALT II.
Which I hope will be sent back to him by fast mail, unsigned.
And only last month he suggested that voluntary compliance has not worked.
There's considerable evidence now that that has been rather one-sided. And if it has been, then there's no need for us to continue.
Conservatives are pressing hard for him to follow his instincts.
It's perfectly clear that the Soviets have not honored the agreement that they've entered into.
2 options that the president is studying: observing SALT II, but speeding up work on the Midget Man missile to compensate for alleged Soviet violations, or going tit for tat with the Soviets, breaking the treaty in ways that the Soviets have been accused of doing, such as dry docking a nuclear submarine instead of dismantling it. Officials say that by the end of the week, the president will come up with a compromise that will give the appearance of sticking with the SALT II treaty, while at the same time making the Soviets pay for their alleged violations. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News at the White House.
During the 1950s, the United States conducted numerous tests of nuclear weapons in the atmosphere. That was 3 decades ago, but now an alarming number of veterans of those tests are finding they have cancer. A major government study came out today, but as Robert Hager reports now, the study raises more questions than it answers.
200,000 U.S. veterans were involved in A-bomb and H-bomb tests in the 1950s. Today, many like Gene Kerbo feel they're paying for it. Downwind of Bikini Island one day, Kerbo got a big dose of radioactive fallout. Now he has a mild form of leukemia and serious heart disease. But to date, the government has denied Kerbo's argument that his problems or problems of most other ailing veterans are related to the tests. And today, a major National Academy of Sciences survey of 46,000 veterans of atomic tests appeared to support the government position. The Science Academy's Seymour Jablon.
The central findings of the study were that there was no consistent increase in mortality from any form of cancer in the participants of the 6 series that we studied.
That was the overall finding, but there were exceptions. Veterans of a single Nevada test called Smoky are dying of leukemia at a rate 2.5 times higher than normal. Researchers don't know why. And veterans of one series of tests in the Pacific, called Red Wing, have a death rate from prostate cancer at a rate twice as high as normal. Researchers don't know why. Veteran Gene Kerbo and some of his ailing colleagues dispute the report's main finding of no excess cancers overall.
I'm not mad at the government. I'm really not mad at the government. You know, I want justice. I want justice out of this thing, and that's something we have not received in 30 years.
At stake are millions of dollars in compensation the veterans claim they're owed. But so far, the government has paid off only 78 veterans. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
2 of the 5 surviving for Stacy septuplets took a turn for the worse last night. The infants, who weigh only about 1.5 pounds, are fighting severe lung disease. The health of the other 3 infants continues to improve, although they remain in critical but stable condition.
Like to try Total?
Oh, no. No, we've been eating shredded wheat since our little girl could hold a spoon.
Well, hope you're hungry.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Great, because you'll each have to eat 12 bowls of shredded wheat to get the vitamin nutrition in just 1 bowl of Total.
12 bowls? 12 bowls?
Uh-huh. Total has 100% of 9 vitamins and iron. It takes 12 bowls of shredded wheat to get that.
12 bowls?
Or you could try Total. 1 bowl, 100%.
Turn to Computerland, and you'll find more than the popular IBM desktops. More than great advice. You'll find the most famous names in software and peripherals. All you need to put together just the right system. And if you hurry in before July 12th, we'll give you even more than your choice of these famous names on the IBM desktop. We'll give you the desk, free. But hurry, Operation IBM ends July 12th at participating stores. Computerland, the one thing to know about computers.
I'm Bryant Gumbel. Tomorrow morning on Today, Jimmy Pearsall takes a wacky look at baseball.
I'm Carol Marine. In our second half hour, we'll talk more with John Travolta.
That's tomorrow morning on Today.
Get that front loader on in here! You think an engineer just sits behind a desk? I'll tell you, sometimes it feels like they're doing this job inside my head. You get a headache like that, you want strong medicine. I mean Anacin.
Anacin. 23% more medicine than regular pain relievers. Anacin stops pain fast.
More medicine, no more headache. Just another quiet day on the job.
Anacin. More medicine.
Special segment tonight, the treatment of cocaine abuse. Cocaine abuse reaches into every corner of America, from big league baseball parks to ghetto streets to suburban homes. It is a national scandal, outracing all efforts to contain it, and there are lots of efforts. Tonight, Jack Perkins begins a 2-part series on the realities of cocaine with this report on the difficulty of treating those who abuse it.
800 cocaines. Peter, may I help you?
800 cocaine, Carol speaking.
Are you injecting it, smoking it, or you're doing both?
And this has been every day for the past month?
More than 1,000 calls a day to this national cocaine hotline. Drug users wanting help. Referrals for treatment. Increasingly, the center says it hears from blue-collar addicts. Coke now is throughout society, across the country.
I called a Coke hotline, I think it was.
An oil field roughneck.
I OD'd that morning. I did too much, and I went out, and I woke up, and my arms got some blood, and I said, this is it.
Small farmer was using 3 grams of cocaine a day.
Basically what brought me here is my wife finally just was so confused that she didn't know what to do. So she decided to leave, and that finally brought me to my senses.
As there are today probably more people using cocaine than ever before, there are more people with cocaine problems, and understandably more newspapers and radio stations full of people offering purported cocaine therapies.
Sometimes doing cocaine isn't a high.
I needed people that would listen, that would talk to me, and the care unit cares.
Treatment can cost thousands of dollars, but many insurance companies will cover it, so treatment programs proliferate. It has become a major industry.
There are a lot of cocaine facilities that have jumped on the bandwagon of cocaine treatment.
At UCLA, an expert on cocaine treatment, Dr. Ronald Siegel, with a caution.
We have no magical cure.
Some scientists are working to develop a drug to block the effects of cocaine to facilitate treatment. Meanwhile, among those running treatment programs, there's disagreement how best to do it. Inpatient or outpatient? Richard Miller heads Coke Enders, which uses 3 weeks of outpatient therapy and a health spa.
Nobody in the world can tell me that a coker has to be hospitalized. It's not cost efficient, and I think it's counterindicated for their particular personality.
The patient should solve problems where they happen, in real life.
At that point, the addict had totally taken over, and you were gone.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't even go to the bathroom without using it.
Dr. Joseph Persh heads the largest drug and alcohol treatment chain, 150 care unit hospitals. First month in hospital.
We must, first of all, keep him in the hospital. We have other patients come into the room, patients who've been here a week or 10 days. And they are of his kind, if you will. And they can tell him what they were feeling a week ago and 10 days ago. And they will literally be with him around the clock, in addition to the medications.
There's a lot of love in this group. And everybody wants to help everybody else.
Whether in hospital or outpatient, the first step must be to detoxify, to rid the body of the poison. Next, to change lifestyle. An addict spends much of his time doing drugs. He needs some way to restructure that time.
They tried to replace my bad habits with good habits. Instead of getting up in the morning and using drugs, you get up in the morning and you read a little Day at a Time book.
Day at a Time is the way, the classic Alcoholics Anonymous 12-step approach, with much group sharing.
I also saw my little boy imitating whiffing lines on the table with a pen.
Her 2-year-old son.
That's what got me in here. And I remember telling my family, but I can't go into a hospital. I have a 2.5-year-old. He's 3 now. I have a baby. Who's going to take care of him? And don't remember who exactly it was. Someone in my family said, nobody's been taking care of him anyway.
An addict may get clean, but will never get cured. Follow-up support like these awards is thought vital.
I feel much better. Now I'm very much more in control, and I can express my feelings more nowadays.
But recidivism. Estimate, half those who pay as much as $15,000 for cocaine treatment will go back to cocaine.
Users should not be looking for any magic. They have to realize that 90% of the success is up to them.
Jack Perkins, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Tomorrow night, Jack will have a report on how the various media portray cocaine in America. That's Nightly News for this Monday night. I'm Tom Brokaw. Good night from all of us at NBC News.
Up next on The Scene at 6, Jake Butcher gets the maximum sentence for stealing millions from his banks. And some residents in Williamson County are upset because Metro sewage is being dumped on their landfill.
Also, farmers are suing because they're losing their wet mash feed. And the controversy's been in the news a lot this year, but the case of Freeman Cooper began 20 years ago.
These stories and more news coming up next on The Scene at 6.
Introducing Kellogg's Rice Krispies bars with a Rice Krispies chewy taste. Watch out.
Taking a break way up high, just my Rice Krispies bar and I. Loving every crispy chewy bite. Boy, they sure build them right. But you know that last bite's so rough, I just can't get enough. Now I've got the all gone, been wronged. Rice Krispies Chewy Blues.
Crisp Rice Krispies Chewy Oats and Honey is the taste that'll cure those blues.
Oh boy.
WSMV, Nashville. From Channel 4.